What is the difference between your team's study and, in particular, their exam performance and exam results and doing squats at the gym? Turns out, not very much, because I love a good analogy. And I was just thinking in the car on the way home from the gym, like, how aligned these two things are. So I want to talk about this whole idea that one small change can make a massive difference. And I've certainly experienced that, and I just know how this works for students as well. So I recently signed up started working with a PT at my gym. Over the years, I've had a few niggly injuries. Obviously, with the shutdowns over COVID, lost a fair bit of fitness and strength, and just wanted to get some confidence back again around like my technique and making sure that, hey, like for these bigger like exercises, am I doing things right? Get that confidence back, and of course, like start performing a bit better as well. So turns out like a couple of tiny things, like I already thought I was doing fairly well. I am quite aware of what I'm doing and trying my best to make sure I'm doing things right and performing things in the right way. And I basically like broke my PB from probably like 5 years ago now by about 15 kilos on a squat, not because I'm stronger. Like if anything, I'm certainly weaker than I was then. Not by being stronger, so, not by learning more content knowledge, not by getting better at a subject, but by making a simple tweak. So there was actually like 2 or 3 tweaks of things that I needed to do. And just by doing those and not, getting stronger within the space of, half an hour or whatever it might be, my personal best went up by 15 kilos, which is ridiculous. Like that's a huge amount of difference. And I just see this happen for students when they get these same tweaks, these little techniques, these things they didn't even know were a thing. It's not like it was a problem before. It's just that they didn't know these things. Makes a huge difference to their confidence, for one, their technique, like how efficiently they're doing things, and then of course the results that they're getting and the payoff for their effort. Like what I will now be able to do in terms of lifting certain weights or performing certain exercises compared to what I did without having put in additional months and months and months of work, although of course I will still keep training, is the exact same for students. Like, yes, they've put in this amount of effort, and yes, I have trained hard until whatever this point that I'm at, but by making these small changes, suddenly it pays off so much more, and it feels good. It's like, I'm making progress again. And this is what happens for students. Like, oh my goodness, okay, like I can get those marks, I can get that grade, I can get that score in an essay, and it feels good as well. And then of course creates this positive spiral. So do you think I'm gonna be excited to get back to the gym and do some squats again, and then work on those other techniques, on those other exercises as well? Yes, I am. And so I wanted to share that with you because it doesn't need to be huge things. It could be a tiny thing that makes all the difference. And what if I'd never done those things? No, it's not going to make any difference to my future. It's not going to make any huge life differences for me. But for students, that tiny change and realizing this thing that they never even realized was an issue before, or something they didn't even know about before, they make that tiny change. It has a huge payoff in terms of their results, or even if let's just say it just boosts them up a couple of marks across every exam that they sit in every subject. What if it's just a couple of marks? But actually, what if it was, increasing their results by 10, 15, 20%? Could be amazing and could have a huge impact on their future. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please let me know of any other situations in life where this has happened, like a tiny change, and it's had a big impact. And until next week, let's make this a fantastic week.